Is it showtime?
It's showtime. Oh my gosh. Welcome back, Marlon.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to 2026.
It's crazy how fast time flies. Would you disagree?
All right. This year I turned 32 years old.
What a year.
Kidding. Wow, that's the Instagram look.
That's not so great. Huh?
That,
we have to like lean into each other. It's got a delay.
Twin
power. That is crazy.
Form of. So, okay, guys, we're just like learning how to use the internet again. Apparently, our Instagram wants us to sit closer.
Yeah, we just have to be near each other. There you go. Now I can see it on the screen at least.
Guys, do me a favor. Give me a thumbs up if you are hearing the audio, if we're coming through crystal clear. Howdy, 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 Benjamin. What's up, Julie? What's up, Gwendolyn? What's up? I love Victory's name is Deaf Victory. Have you spoken to Victory yet?
I know Victory. I haven't spoken to her in a while. Hi, Victory. Good to see you.
Victory told me the coolest thing. She told me, she was like, dude, I am actually deaf. I was like, no freaking way.
No way.
Yeah, she was like, I was like, how are you hearing me right now? She's like, I'm reading your lips. I'm like, no stinking way. So I covered my mouth and she was like, don't do that.
That's funny.
So absolutely love Victory. But guys, we are going to be jumping into, oh, how cute. I know. We are adorable, aren't we? Right, Mr. Nicholas? That's Mr. Nicholas. So, guys, 2026 is officially here. And typically one of the things I like to do at the end of every year is sit down and look and review. Is it not staying up for you?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Squeeze it like a man.
Well, no, just I'm good. I got it. You keep going.
Okay. So at the end of each year, 2026, at the end of every year, I like to sit down and do a total recap on the lessons learned. Because, and I want y'all to write this down. Today is a bit of a note taker. Write this down for yourselves. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. If you go through the year and you have all the experiences, but you don't stop and reflect on it, then unfortunately, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You're leaving a lot of lessons behind. And ultimately, you're doomed to repeat the mistakes you've made in the past and not double down on the things that are working really well for you. And so we don't want that to happen for ourselves. And so we combined a different list. She's got a list of her top lessons. I have a list of my top lessons, and we're going to go into it. I've got 15 lessons. I think you have 10 or a little bit
I have
less.
less. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to jump. I think let's jump right into it.
You take it away.
And I'm going to start off with lesson 1, and I've got them written down. So I'm going to look over here at my screen. Oh, beautiful. So lesson 1. The solo grind is a lie, right? Teaming up accelerates success way faster than willpower could do alone. And this was something that I immediately, when I started thinking about what did I learn in 2025, being real with myself and being honest and reflecting, I noticed I am not as productive when I work alone versus when I partner up with good people, when I team up with people like Caroline, when I team up with people like Jonathan, when I bring people into my world and into my vision, it is a massive boost and accelerator on all things that I'm able to accomplish, which is interesting because when it comes time to actually doing the work, I do work best in isolation. Like once I have a clear task and a clear vision, I do need to be left alone in silence. Caroline has seen me do this. Like I put the headphones in, I go into my room, I literally shut off all the lights in my room except for the lights on my desk because I need to be able to zone in and just get utterly pushed into the vision. But after that, when I need to when I want to build further after the task is done, I actually do need to plug back in. I need to be a part of a wolf pack. I need to be part of a team. I need to be part of a larger vision. And what's interesting is we saw a lot of that, not just for me personally. I saw it within my MMC community, so the Millionaire Mindset community. I saw a lot of people giving me the same feedback. I did a survey of over 500 members in this community. So I have 1,000 members in the community. Of the 1,000, I reached out to about 500 people personally and DM'd them and asked them to respond to some survey questions. And I saw this theme over and over where other people said the same thing, that being able to plug into community, have people around you who are doing the same thing, who are sharing the vision and sharing the mission, has allowed them to hit their KPIs. It's allowing them to make more money. It's allowing them to feel progress, and not just in a business sense, but also in personal goals, that they started getting people, their family, their friends, their neighbors involved in their fitness journey, their relationship journey, their financial journey. So do not believe in the hoax of the solo grind. Like, it is false. There is the lone wolf mentality. It's cool for the movies, not practical for real life. So that was my lesson 1.
I like
And
that. I'm going to
yeah.
add on to that because I think it's really important because I see your notes because I shared them with myself.
Yep.
And are you going to go into these?
I mean, we can actually.
I was going to just talk about it. So one thing that we also picked up this year is we picked up a new hobby, or last year.
Mhm.
We picked up a new hobby where we were playing pickleball together. You guys have heard us talk about pickleball, but going to play pickleball by yourself, you can't. It's a 2-person game minimum and it's lonely. And then we would go there and just run through the drills a lot. We'd get to the courts early, we'd practice together, and it's more fun. Like, man, it's fun to watch how quickly we were excelling in pickleball.
Yeah.
Because when we first got started, like I was okay. I'd played a little bit before, but we got our butts handed to us multiple times by people with double knee braces, by young kids. And then like we were dog awful when we first started playing pickleball. And then we'd go in on a Sunday and we'd be there for 3 hours and we'd just run through drills, which is the same thing of getting in the virtual office inside of MMC and working together and not being lonely.
Well, and you know what's funny about this? So I used pickleball actually as a big example, and like that's why I put it in the bullet points, is because even when it comes to like the solo grind, a lot of people, they struggle with like, how do I get someone on board? See, the thing I noticed with pickleball was that was a clear target. The rules were set. We knew what we were trying to accomplish, and it was something that we were able to work on together. Because we had something to grow towards together, it actually brought us closer together.
Yeah, it's true.
And this is something, by the way, for people who are like, but I'm trying to get my husband, my wife, did you invite them into the vision? Are you guys working on the same thing and growing towards something together? Because if you're not, you may be growing and your partner may be growing, but you guys are growing in different directions at different targets. So when we had pickleball, when we had a shared experience, a shared destination, we're able to grow and progress on that journey together. I promise you that's going to take you further in 2026. If you start to look for who's my wolf pack, start to identify what's your goal, what's the vision, and can you invite other people into that vision? And it's going to get into one of my other lessons, so I'm not going to dive in too deep on it right now.
Well, it made it fun too, because then you would watch a YouTube video and I'd watch a YouTube video, and then we'd pick up a new skill and we'd talk about, hey, let's try it this way. You know what? Our backspin is not really well. So you can find different things you can tweak on and work together. I really like that. That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is lonely. Like I just had a few people, I just finished up a Zoom and everybody's like, how do I get to join on your team? Like, I want to be on a team with success. It's a big thing. I had a new guy just join who started making calls. His name's Justin. And first and foremost, guys, if you ever want to, like, not only is a solo grind like freaking a lie, it's lonely, but also like it's like just kind of sad doing it all by yourself. And
it's
like
not fun.
It's not fun. But Justin texted me, he's like, this was the first day he got to be in with our Zoom group of our virtual office with the team calling. He's like, thank you so much. Like calling by myself was really, really lonely. And you'll quit faster when you're on your own. When you have I love to talk about Marlon. Sometimes I love him and sometimes I hate him. And you got to be careful who you tell your goals to, because I've told Marlon my goals and he holds me to it. He's one of those friends that holds me to the standard. So when we go to the gym, all right, Caroline, let's go get to lift it. Let's go do the pull-ups. And I'm working on my pull-ups. They're not as strong, but I told you my goal and now I'm hitting it faster because you know what I'm trying to accomplish. Same thing with business and anything else. Go ahead.
No, I love that. So what I want to do is I think we'll ping pong back and forth between my goal, my lesson, your lesson.
Okay. I wonder if any of them are going to overlap because we haven't talked about them.
No, we have not. We have no idea what each other's lessons are.
So mine is just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that was, I think, a big one for me this year, talking about my business in general. And it comes back into the lesson of this is the fixer lesson. Being able to do everything was the reason I've stuck doing only everything. I couldn't wear all of the hats I'm able to wear right now. Oh yeah, you got it. I couldn't wear, we just stopped yesterday, 3 auctions. We stopped 3 foreclosure auctions and one of them was sent to us on Tuesday night. And how is this possible? Because I've been able to delegate and work with people and enable everybody around me to thrive, but doing it on my own, I can't work on a Zoom, make my new leads coming in, qualify my leads, contact the bank, get a contract written, go view the property, go find the buyer. I can't wear I guess I could, you can, you're just not going to be able to go as fast. So when you work with a team, it makes it a lot easier. So just because I can doesn't always mean I should. And then that comes into not only like delegating with my team, but what kind of deals I do.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I had you saw, we got to release that video of me talking. I spoke with a homeowner, 2 weeks ago in the evening call we do on Thursday. And this guy, anything that could go wrong in his life did. And it's like AI stole his job.
That was a funny
young
call.
people are taking his jobs. Well, here, we could do this. Nope, there's no opportunity for me here. And I wanted to help him. I wanted to make sure he was set up for success, but like also I don't want to hang around negative Nellies. I don't want to hang around somebody who believes everything is everybody else's fault without taking extreme ownership. So again, just because I can doesn't mean I should. I can go above and beyond for this guy, but he doesn't actually want help. So now I'm narrowing my focus and I'm only dealing with people who truly want my help. And that's been instrumental too. So just because I can doesn't always mean I should. And another thing, when we went to Vietnam, found this out with my team, we were still working abroad. I almost want to call Lindsay. They hated it when I left town, but the time difference, I couldn't answer every question. I realized I was the bottleneck in the business. Just because I could solve every problem doesn't mean I should, because it slows everything down. So my team wasn't doing anything until I gave them the green light. And I was like, listen, guys, with indiscretion, just do it. And we'll learn from the process. Like I have quite a few properties right now that we are taking through the probate process. And man, there's been a whole lot of money thrown into those. So just because I can doesn't always mean I should.
Yeah, no, I mean, and guys, that's a spot on one. This morning inside of my community, I did a call. We had about 81 people on that call this morning. And I was reminding everyone that yesterday, January 14th, was a holiday. Most people didn't know. It was Quitter's Day.
Oh,
yeah.
For resolutions?
Yeah, for most people's New Year's resolutions, yesterday was the day they gave up on it. And so we celebrated for the rest of the people, the other 99% of the people in the world, but we're not going to be the quitters. And what happens is the reason a lot of people quit on Quitter's Day isn't because they forgot about their New Year's resolution. It's because they've already picked up new distractions. They've already started to entertain all the new shiny objects. And it's only been 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks of the new year, but they're already starting to go back to the old habit of trying to do all the things all at once.
You know what I'm curious, before you go to the next one, you know what I'm curious about, because we talked about this, because I was getting a little bit of shiny object syndrome and we got dialed back in. Would you say it's because these people are not keeping the main thing, like they're not constantly reminding themselves of what the goal is?
Yes. I hope I have it in here as one of my lessons, where if it's not, it's going to be an honorary lesson where we're going to do a deep dive on focus and keeping the main thing and how important. Guys, you're going to be tempted. You're going to be tempted. 2025 tempted us a lot, but you and I were talking in the car yesterday.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, what made 2025 so successful? For as many challenges, it was also, I think, the best year for both of us individually in our businesses. And what made it the most successful is Jennifer Burdick got it right there on the side chat. It was the word focus. Focus was the thing that made 2025 the most successful, the most profitable year we've ever had. And also the least amount of stress overall that we've ever had. Okay. So I'm going to jump into secret number 2, or lesson number 2, which is, I'm going to call this the billionaire's sleep secret. The most underrated performance enhancer isn't supplement, it's sleep. If there's one lesson that really, like, I wear a Whoop and now I wear a Garmin, and I track my sleep every night religiously at this point. It's one of the first things I look at, actually. When I wake up, I do check to see what time did I go to bed, how much REM did I get, because before I wake up and before I look at the watch, I already can feel if I am mentally there or not. And I never put an emphasis on sleep before. However, now that we're doing things bigger than we've ever done it before, we have goals that we want to accomplish, a lot of things to do, a lot of people to respond to throughout the day, a lot of conversations. I feel like I always need to be mentally on point. I need to be able to solve problems. I need to be able to communicate at my highest level. I'm constantly speaking. I'm constantly in front of a camera. I'm constantly in front of an audience. And I don't want to show up half-assed. And a lot of people are trying to power through poor habits with caffeine, energy drinks, and any sort of supplement that they can buy from the pharmacy. And there's nothing wrong with supplementation. Like, guys, this year I'm investing a lot into my health, into the gym, into peptides, and into vitamins and all the things. However, sleep is the wonder drug. Getting between, for myself personally, and everyone's different. I'm not your nutritionist. I'm not your doctor. I'm just going to share with you what I discovered for myself. 7.5 to 8 hours is that's my sweet spot. I know people boast about being able to operate off, and no, I just need 5 hours or 6 hours. And they're so proud about this. But the reality is, when I look at their results, and I know money's not everything, but when I use the measuring tool of how much money they make, I'm like, I make more money than you, though. Right? I'm also at more peace than you. I'm also less stressed out than you. My business is also growing faster than you, but you're boasting that you get 5 to 6 hours of sleep. And I have not found a person yet that has started getting more sleep that has not started to see an improvement in their cognitive ability. One of the cool things about sleep, for the people that say, like, I struggle to remember things, I struggle to be able to recall information during sleep. And I don't know if you know this, during sleep, when you get that deep REM sleep, your brain is actually replaying the events from that day. And it's replaying it thousands of times. So we talk about repetition being the mother of mastery. Actually, when you go to sleep, your nervous system replays the day's events, the knowledge, the information, the conversations you've had, the phone calls, the things you learned. It's replaying it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And it's actually logging that information into the part of your mind where long-term memory is stored. So if you want your events from the day to go from this happened today and it's something I want to be able to recall in the future, getting ample sleep, getting deep sleep, deep restful sleep is actually what gives you the ability to let today compound into tomorrow from a recall standpoint. Game changer. So this year, one of my big focuses is being way more adamant with sleep. And the way I'm doing that is I've sacrificed weekends. What do I mean by I sacrificed weekends? Put one in the chat if you guys ever let yourself sleep in on the weekends. Like, do you sleep in on the weekends? Does your sleep wake schedule change for Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? Do you go to bed later on the weekends than you do on the weekdays? Do you wake up later on the weekends than the weekdays? Because that's what I was doing in 2025, at least at the beginning. And I've adjusted by sacrificing the weekends. I no longer sleep in. I wake up around the same time on Saturday. I go to sleep around the same time on Saturdays.
As you do during the week.
As I do during the week. So I'm not staying up till midnight on the weekends anymore. And what I found is what it's doing is it's not breaking me for Monday. Because Sunday nights going into Monday were becoming a little bit of a struggle because I was like, I have to restart restart the habit every single time. So one of the things for 2026, maintain your sleep-wake schedule throughout the weekend. The same way you would with your children, because you know it's good for their growth, it's good for yours still. I love Raquel says, I wish I could sleep in. So that's one of the biggest things. And then also a game changer as well. And I think you started doing this as well. Guys, when I wake up in the morning, again, I'm not your nutritionist, but first thing I go for now is a cup of water with electrolytes. Right? Like immediately hydrating the body after sleep before jumping into work. So before caffeine, before coffee, before energy drinks, any of that stuff, a cup of water with electrolytes.
I actually just saw a thing. So we share memes back and forth with each other. I've been sharing you those cartoon memes.
Oh, yeah, like the body ones? Yep.
In your organs. And they actually say I don't drink coffee, but I will indulge in an energy drink here and there. But they said if you go straight to an empty stomach with coffee, it increases your anxiety and it just messes up your gut biome. So that is a life hack. And like, I'm drinking tea right now. Like I try and drink tea as much as I can just to soothe my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's honestly, like going to Vietnam, I think one of the biggest things for us was realizing how good we felt in Vietnam.
Yeah.
The food was like American food. We are being robbed. The propaganda is heavy here. Our food is not the same as everywhere else.
Guys, and when you feel better, you can perform better. Like the reality is, it's like we kind of take it as like you're supposed to get sick. It's December. You're supposed to have been sick at least twice by this time of year. I don't think either of us have been sick.
Which is crazy because
months.
how often do I get sick usually?
Yeah.
And you know what? I was getting, if you guys know me, the last few years, I would get sick constantly because I wasn't sleeping. Now that I look back at it, I really wasn't giving myself enough sleep. And I was spending the weekends catching up on sleep.
Yep. Guys, so sleep, billionaire secret. Like billionaires sleep. Don't believe what you see in the movies. They sleep.
Let's talk about it. Like LeBron James. I just watched the thing. He's 41, still playing in the NBA at the high. I just watched him dunk the other day. And somebody said, so what's your routine today? He woke up, got in the cold plunge, then did a hyperbaric chamber, and then took a nap for a couple hours, and then went to the gym and stretched his body and got it warmed up to be ready to play. Like, I think he sleeps like 11 hours a day.
Yep.
Top athletes are sleeping as much as possible. So why wouldn't we as entrepreneurs or just a person in general get as much sleep as you possibly can to be at your highest and best level? And we're working and we're doing these things. And there was a season where we were pulling crazy hours, but we're not our best self at that rate.
Yeah. And
like coming back into what you said with the billionaire secret of sleep, I know I'm taking lots of multivitamins. Actually, I just ran out today, so I'm going to have to run up there and get some more. And we're investing in better quality food. How often are we eating at our salad spot, our soup and salad spot? Marlon is anti-soup, and that now he's got the protein bowls there. But it's better food. It's better quality
it is better
food.
All right. Yeah. And like that's actually going to be one of my lessons later when we dive into it.
Nice.
But big thing here, y'all, is, and this is why here's the reason why this lesson stood out to me, guys. I found myself, it was about a month ago. It was a Sunday morning and I woke up, and that Saturday night I did stay up late, right? Like I was hanging out with a friend who just kind of needed some help.
You have a friend that's not me?
I know, you were gone.
What?
I had to hang out with someone else. I even invited you to the movies, but you were not home.
Go on.
And so what ended up happening was the next Sunday morning, I woke up and I had things I wanted to do. I wanted to go to church. I wanted to go work out. I wanted to go hang out. I wanted to go get some video shot, all the things. And I found myself like so tired thinking like, okay, well, like if I go to the gym and I go in the sauna, then I go in the ice plunge and I could biohack my way back to like having energy,
feeling better.
And then I was like, or I could just freaking go to sleep. Like I could actually just give my body what it needs in order to recover on its own. Like sometimes we try and biohack through what just really needs to be eliminated, which is like dumb decisions. So staying up and fighting through the biohack, like guys, just sleep, get your rest. Okay, I'm done with that.
No, I've done it before. We're like, don't feel well, let's go do a cold plunge. And then you're like, what am I doing? I'm good for a little bit.
Yeah, because guys, here's the crazy thing. I'm like, I gotta drive 30 minutes to my gym to get there, get into the sauna, spend 20 minutes in the sauna, drive another 30 minutes. So I'm talking like an hour and a half minimum just to do this, where I'm like, I could just go take a nap for an hour and a half and like get all the same effects and not but it was one of those funny things. I was like, man, how many people do this? Like how many people are trying to like life hack through bad habits? Like, no, just change and do the better thing. There's a natural remedy to higher performance.
You know what I'd also, so I'm going to go into my next lesson for me, but I would say another thing that you're really good at is what I struggled with when I first got started. Cause I'd be like, oh, I got to wake up at 4 a.m. I got to do these things. Like I'm just not doing enough with my time. I read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, I'm not doing enough, but I didn't really have a plan for the day. I'd get up early and I was like, okay, what do I do now? Like I am waking up early, but okay, I'll read a book for a little bit. How long should I didn't know what my path should be. I didn't have clarity. I kind of knew, but I wasn't all the way dialed in. So hanging out with people that already have a plan and just copying off of their plan will help you a ton.
I love it.
All right. So my next lesson is one of my favorite phrases: slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And this is the speed trap. Okay. So sometimes you got it perfect. Sometimes I just think I need to rapid fire through everything and it messes me up. So what I had is going faster didn't make me successful in 25. It just made me screw things up faster.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't need to go extremely fast. I just need to go down the right path and take my time and make sure this is the best use of my time. Do I want to implement things quickly and get feedback fast? Yes, but I shouldn't just be a bull in a china shop. I should be very intentional with what I'm doing. And when I'm trying to, so for example, we have KPIs in our business, calling people or whatever your KPIs may be, the key performance indicators of what you need to accomplish. So for me and my team, the minimum is they need to be making, I've increased it, 100 dials a day. Actually, I think I just changed it to 125 dials a day. If you're not making at least 125 dials a day, what are we doing? And in those 125 dials, you should have minimum 3 conversations a day. That's the main thing I want to track. From those 3 conversations, we should get 1 appointment. And then over time, we should get a contract. Okay. But just going through and just focusing on only the dials of like, okay, I get 100, like I hit 125 dials. It's not just the 125 dials, ripping through 125 calls. It's, did I have a quality conversation that leads to an appointment, that leads to a contract? Or like the goal for this year is for us to stop 1,000 foreclosure auctions in the country. And do we always buy the house? No. The way that I want to run my business is I believe in karma and I want to take care of the people around me. So if I prioritize helping these families, and if they can actually stay, if it makes sense for them fiscally to stay in their home, let's help them stay. Like that's ideal. And if it doesn't, then what we're going to do is help them get a fresh new start into the next chapter of their life. But going fast and just ripping through things and not paying attention to the little details, that really messes you up. And then you lose out on everything. So I was a little more, I think I bought something. Oh, I bought you something and you're like, wow, very intense. What was it? What did I buy you?
The Meta goggles?
Oh yeah. You never buy yourself anything nice. So I bought Marlon a set of Meta goggles for Christmas and the new year. And I gave them to you. And what did you say though? You said something about how much thought I put into this.
I can't remember. You
said something along the lines of, wow, I just saw how much detail you put into buying people gifts and what you do for them. Like, I know this is very precious to I'm going to take it's very precious to me now, knowing how much thought and energy goes into this. You obviously didn't remember saying this, but what I said after that was, Well, yeah, because I've gone through where I've just purchased things and I wasn't paying attention to the fine print. And I'm like, I ordered the wrong thing. So I was very intense. So now I am more intentional because I figured out slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So it's a little bumpy when you get started.
Yeah.
But the more you do it, the more repetition, the more experience you get, the easier it is over time. Same thing with the habit, going to the gym. You can lift heavier weights, you can have longer endurance the more you do it. So
Yeah.
slow is smooth.
You know,
smooth
I
is
like
fast.
this because slow is smooth, smooth is fast is something that we used to say a lot when I was coaching parkour. And this is what we used to tell the kids all the time because I practiced one of my favorite things in the world was I still love this balancing on rails. Like I love balancing. I love standing on things that are really tall. Like it gets me to focus. And kids would always try to copy, but then they would slip and fall off the rails. And I would tell them, like, guys, like, slow it down. Look where your foot needs to go. Place it. Get comfortable at doing the right direction, moving in the right direction. And once you're competent, once you finish, then speed it up, right? Like finish the course, make it all the way across the rail, complete it, because falling fast and not getting back up is not actually fast. So this slow is smooth, smooth is fast, write it down. Give yourself permission to slow it down. Give yourself permission to move in the right direction. Direction matters more than speed.
So I just see that Lindsay, I just said brick by brick, and it makes me think of when you talk about, so Marlon's from New York, if you guys couldn't tell. And what would you say about skyscrapers? What do they do? We'd watch construction forever.
Yeah. So if anyone's ever been in a major city and you've seen the construction of a skyscraper, what you recall is there's a green fence around the perimeter, and that green fence exists for, I don't know, something like 5 years, 6 years. And you're like, what the hell are these people doing? Like, this is like what makes you think the union never does anything, because these union guys show up to the job site every day. And I'm like, it's been 5 years and there is still nothing here. But after they've caused 5 years of traffic, in the course of maybe a weekend, out of nowhere, there's like a 20-story skeleton. And you're like, see, now they're finally moving, right? Now they're finally building something. And then in another 2 weeks, you start to see the glass being put on. And then in another 2 weeks, like all the things. And within the course of what seems like 4 months, the entire skyscraper is done. And you're like, why did it take you guys 5 years and 4 months? But we all know what was going on. A foundation was being built. And if you're going to build a skyscraper, the larger thing that you're building, the longer it's going to take to build a solid foundation, because you have to dig deeper and deeper down. And the interesting thing about a foundation is the building of the foundation is never seen. The most important part of the business, most important part of the building, no one ever actually sees it. It's literally buried in the basement. So the season right now that you're putting in the work, making the calls, developing the skills, going through the sales training, practicing your scripts, all of those things right now, that's a part of this season of you're moving slow in comparison because you're looking at everyone else's results, but you're actually getting smooth. You're getting good at what you do so that you can move quickly. All right. Looks like for some reason, YouTube's not letting us post any more comments.
I don't know. We'll see.
Anyhow, let's jump into that next lesson. Next lesson is, this one's one of mine. So lesson number 3, break them to build them. And what I mean by break them to build them is push people past their limits to reveal their true potential. I am someone that's very empathetic to people, and I think I care more about people's feelings than they even care about their own feelings. Like, I am one of those people where I tend to care more about people than they care about themselves sometimes. To the detriment, I've been caught caring about someone more than they care about themselves. And with that, what will happen is kind of like a parent not wanting to see their kid get hurt. Sometimes I can be too protective of people. And I've made this mistake. And I noticed I was making this mistake in 2025 with staff, with partners, with people that I hire, not wanting to overwhelm them. I would give them too little task. I wouldn't give them enough challenge. And what I've come to realize is break them to build them. Actually give them more because you see that they're more capable. I have this belief now of, let's overwhelm them a little bit. Let's give them more than they can handle so that they can realize they can do more than they thought. And this is something that I'm entering 2026 in with this mindset and this thought process and philosophy not just with employees, but also even with my coaching clients. In a more intentional way, I'm giving them more. I'm asking more of them than I've ever asked before, because I'm seeing how no one else believes in their ability to get up and perform. But I do. I understand how people work. We grow from pressure. Growth and comfort do not live on the same street. And so 2025, that lesson stood out to me when I had the opportunity to accidentally overwhelm one of my virtual assistants. And I saw that she managed to get everything done where I thought like, oh, she would not be able to do that. She got it done, and she got it done in record time. And I'm realizing, wow, I'm actually the limiter on her. And I've got to stop limiting. Let them break, create a space, create an environment where they can come to you when they're feeling broken. And my job is to build the people up. If you're going to be in the position of leadership, and I know not everyone here is in a position of leadership yet, but you are leading yourselves. If you're in a position of leadership, your job is to build the people, and the people will build the business.
Say that last line again.
Your job is to build the people, and the people will build the business. So that's a quick lesson. Break them to build them. What do we got? What's lesson number 3 on your side?
I like that. I got to type this out for everybody. So my next one, this actually was like my favorite one. So I'm glad we're doing this at the peak right now, and we have some more people in here. This is, I think, the first one I told Marlon when we started talking in the car about this. My third one is called Hiring the Right Coach Got Me to the Next Level. And I'm going to put it up there so everybody can see it. This is the paid shortcut. Okay. The most expensive part of 2025 wasn't the coach I hired. It was all the months I tried to figure it out alone. And it comes into being around, like picking the right coach is one of the biggest catalysts to our success. I hired a coach that literally changed my business. And I met him from another mastermind. And you know what? I think it's such a, I'm excited I don't ask for discounts when I go to things with one, small businesses, but with coaches like this, because I want them. I've told my team this, like, I'm going to be the number one student when I pay for stuff. I pay attention a lot more when I pay for things, but I met this coach from another mastermind I was a part of, and I pay a lot more attention because I wrote a big check to him to get started. I was like, oh, like, hey, let's what's the payment plan here? Because it was a big one. And now, once I've seen what it's done for my business, because anybody will tell you, oh, we're going to change your life. So you're like, I'm going to listen to it with a grain of salt. This coach that I hired this year has transformed our ability to get properties under contract. Like, I even had, like, it's so funny because Lindsay went through some of the training, and originally Lindsay was like, I'm really good at building rapport with everybody, and I just can't get them to, come to the conclusion that they need, like, selling is their best option. And about a month after we went through all this and I let her get into some of the training and learn things, she's like, oh, now everybody wants to sell. I don't know what to, I need buy prices faster. Like, what do I do here? And it was the best thing I ever did. So I even followed up with him before the new year, because it was only for 6 months. And we've talked about this because I use Marlon for high performance coaching. And this is a different coach for a different aspect of my life and my business. But I was like, hey, how do I pay you for I already told Marlon this, I'm paying this guy for probably the rest of my life because it's been so instrumental to my success. I'm excited to pay him. And I never thought I'd say that. I'm excited to pay him because I know there's a 10x return on my investment, because he helps me stay focused. I have my mindset guy that helps me not get distracted. I have this part, that's another part of my business. Finding the right coach changed my life, and it made sure that I didn't waste time on the wrong activities.
I love it.
Yeah.
Lindsay's just like texting us some funny stuff.
She said something. Oh,
no, dude, like I absolutely, and I agree. Actually, I double down on that. I 100% agree with that. Caroline's got her text messages in front of me, so now I'm reading her whole inbox. But good coaches have changed my life entirely. I know for a fact, and I think this was one of my lessons last year and the year before and the year before that, and quite frankly, to lesson again this year, where I'll talk about this, that who you bring into your life is going to affect it. And in fact, I'm going to end up saying that later, where stop hanging out with the people who are closest to you, start hanging out with the people who are closest to your goal.
Oh, I like that one.
And so I'm going to,
you got it? Oh, go for it. Yeah. You got it if you got it.
So guys, my lesson number 4 is rip off the Band-Aid, right? Rip off the Band-Aid faster. Have the hard conversations faster, because they grow you. Have the uncomfortable conversations. As a people pleaser in recovery, this one is so personal to me because I don't like conflict, believe it or not. I really don't at all. Like, I don't like uncomfortable conversations. I don't like to say something that's going to cause any sort of tension to exist. If it was up to me, we would all just be farting rainbows and sunshine. But that's not the reality, and the growth doesn't come from that. And so being able to rip off the Band-Aid faster has been a lesson for me, in the sense of good news needs to be delivered fast. Bad news needs to be delivered faster. You've got to let people know. Don't wait. You will never think to yourself, I'm so glad I waited longer to have the necessary conversation. No one ever thinks that. No one ever says, wow, I'm so happy I didn't fire that person sooner. No one ever says, oh, I'm so happy that I didn't ask for the raise earlier. Have the uncomfortable conversation sooner. And guys, when I say the uncomfortable conversation, please don't think because it's uncomfortable for someone else that you're already doing this by doing the thing other people are scared to do. There's a lot of times where people are like, oh, well, like, for example, a lot of people, the uncomfortable conversation comes in the form of presenting an offer, right? In sales, presenting an offer. But if that doesn't scare you, that's not your Band-Aid to rip off. Your Band-Aid to rip off might be having a conversation with your partner that, hey, I want to go in different directions. It might be talking to your spouse and telling them, hey, I'm all in on this business model. It might be talking to people that you in the past promised, hey, we're going to do this together. We're going to go and do this vending machine business. But now that you're actually focused, you've got to go back and tell that person like, hey, I don't want to do that anymore. The amount of people I see, the Band-Aid that they need to rip off is you made a past promise that you no longer have any desire to fulfill on, but you will not go and tell that person that you want to break up. Like, seriously, like the rip off the Band-Aid, it's usually the breakup conversation. That's the one I see people avoiding the most. Cut it off. Cut it out. If you're not doing, like, shout out to Gerald Donaire. We interviewed him, I think like probably like a month ago. Yeah. So like 4 weeks ago, we interviewed him and we were talking about the success he had in his business. And a major catalyst to that success was he was already doing okay. He was getting some results, but he had to go to his business partners and say, this is the strategy I want to implement. This is what I want to start doing. He's like, I'm following Caroline's strategy. I'm listening to Marlon. He's saying to focus on one thing. We're doing too many things. And he had to give his team a bit of an ultimatum of, this is the direction I'm walking in. And that led to a breakup. He ripped the Band-Aid off. He did not wait long. One of my favorite things is how quickly Gerald follows instruction when he gets it from his coach. He did not wait several weeks to have that conversation. He acted so quick. Remember what happened like 2 weeks ago?
Pop up a video of that.
2 weeks ago, Gerald's on a call with a homeowner and he's saying something to the homeowner. And unfortunately, this homeowner, her husband had passed away that day, that morning. And he finds out on that phone call. And we're like, oh no, like Gerald, like wrong
don't
time.
Push this.
Like don't. And like he like looks up at the screen because he has us muted, obviously. And we're just like saying, like, end the call, end the call. And he sees us saying end the call and just goes. I'm like, Gerald, did you just hang up on her?
He said, yeah, did you guys want me to hang up?
We're like, yes, but like end the call. And like, but he followed instructions so quickly. And like we joke, but like that's what's making him successful. He's willing to rip when he gets instruction. He's willing to rip the Band-Aid off, even if the action is uncomfortable. He's willing to just act, to jump. So 2026, one of the things you guys are going to be seeing more from me, especially if you have any one-on-one conversations, is I'm going to be doing a lot more ripping the Band-Aid off because honestly, and I have Caroline to thank for this, and I have friends in my life to thank for this. I already have the respect and like the people whose opinions matter to me. Like I'm already living with integrity. So I'm not worried about losing the respect of people anymore. Like in other words, I don't care what other people think anymore. And so I'm not really interested in people pleasing, but I do want to see you win. So if you come to me, you are just going to get an authentic, honest mirror that's going to reflect what I see. That's lesson number 4.
I like that one. My lesson number 4 is having a good sales framework changed the game. So it comes back into the coaching, getting the right thing. I had some good sales processes, found one that worked even better and followed through with it. You got it. Okay, perfect. Incredible. It's a sales upgrade. It has made, guys, you do not have a business if you don't have sales in it. You have no business if you don't have sales. You cannot survive. You cannot eat if there is no food in the pantry. You know what I mean? You have got to put in the work that's necessary. So having a good sales process and then just sticking with it. Like the other thing is like there is some sort of team huddle for my team every single day. If it's not with me, it's with somebody else on the team. They're getting some sort of feedback on the sales training. It's being reminded more than being taught anything new.
Yep.
And so what I wrote down here is my close rate didn't change because I tried harder. It changed because someone finally showed me what I was doing wrong. And sometimes we're so deep in the weeds, we can't see through the forest. You know what I mean? So
wow.
That was the biggest thing. Once we were able to do that, there's a process for everything. And guess what? I'm not a big process person. Like I like following the process. I'm just not good at building the process. So what have I done? Going back to one of my first lessons, just because I can doesn't mean I should. I have empowered the people around me. And I also think there's an abundance of opportunities. I think everybody can win. Yeah. There's always a problem that needs to be solved. So if I empower my team, they're feeling confident in their own. They can create their own opportunities as well. And I want to make sure that they're making money with me. So I hire somebody that knows how to build these systems and processes. And we always have something operating, working towards correcting and continuing. So we have a sales call that doesn't go well. Perfect. Let's listen to the recording. What did we do well? And what can we improve on next time? And I'm okay with failure. Actually, I hope it's in here. I think I put that. Let me see. Okay, good. It's my 9th one. So I'll go over that on number 9. But that's my number 4 was a good sales framework has changed the game for us.
I love that. And just shout out to this concept of, I don't believe you can outwork a bad system, right? It's kind of like the people that try to outwork a bad diet and a bad lifestyle.
No,
you're fighting against yourself. So it's kind of silly. And it goes in a line with my lesson number 5, which is I share lesson 5, the myth of natural talent. Being gifted is just a byproduct of repetition.
I just brought this up today. So I was talking about this because I was naturally athletic. Like anything, I'm pretty good at picking it up, but I would quit when things would get hard or I'd get frustrated and I wouldn't try it. I'm like, well, I really don't care. No, I want to hang around the people that are really going to put in the work when it's necessary. I don't want any naturally talented people near me.
Yeah, because guys, like when you look at the people that are natural talents, like if anyone ever thinks I'm a natural talent at anything, because where I get this the most is when people tell me, wow, you are so naturally gifted at speaking and communication. And I laugh at that every single time because I am saying you clearly did not know me when I was younger. You clearly did not know me before the age of 19. Because before the age of 19, I was the epitome of children are meant to be seen, not heard. I did not utter a original thought before the age of 19. I played it safe and I played it quiet. And so now I'm in a different place. I literally get paid to speak. I get flown around the country. I get paid. They put me up in hotels. They pay me. They do all the things, which is really cool. I thought about it one day. I was like, I make money to talk. I make money to make face noises. That's what speaking is. It's just face noises. And what people don't see, this natural talent, I remind them, I say, well, you do know every morning at 6 a.m., I literally open a Zoom and I host it where I speak at minimum for an hour at a time. Also, in the afternoons, I will typically read for 30 minutes or so out loud to myself.
I've heard him.
Caroline has walked in the room and like just heard me reading to myself. Also, I host Zooms. I host YouTube. I've done podcasts. I speak probably 4+ hours a day. Back when I was making calls every day, I was making calls for 6+ hours a day. And all of this was repetition using my voice. All of this. And that built up where I need to go and measure. It's probably been at least 20,000 hours in the last 6 years or so of just communication, intentional communication. 2025 alone, and I got to go get the stats. I know for a fact I've spoken on more than 50 stages, both in person and virtual, probably over 100, but I need to go get the stats. I got to go look at my calendar and see. But I know for a fact because at least 2 weekends out of the month, every year, I spoke on a physical stage for one company, one organization that hires me. And then I would go out, I would speak on stages with Caroline. I've toured across the US and we go to meetups and people put a mic in our hands. So all this to say that myth that someone is just naturally talented, what you're failing to recognize is no, that person has just had more repetition offline that you have not paid witness to.
Mhm.
And for yourself, if you feel like you are not naturally talented, you're not. And that's okay. Go and practice. All these things you see anyone doing, they are skills. And skills can be broken down into simpler steps, and simpler steps can be practiced and repeated daily. That's how you get better. 2026, repetition, right? Please write this down. Volume negates skill. Volume negates skill. Anything you're bad at, go do it 10,000 times, have 10,000 iterations, and you will improve. I promise. All right, what's your lesson number 5?
Man, that's so good. Actually, I'm just going to add on the other thing. We did a hike in August, and Marlon and I did not plan it. Super tough, hardest hike in the tallest mountain in the United States, Mount Whitney. And gosh, dude, we were gassed. And I just kept telling myself, I can't lose if I don't quit. I can't lose if I don't quit. And that's the same thing. You just keep pushing through. You will eventually get better.
Yeah.
It just helps you if you do it faster, if you do more repetition. Yeah. All right. So my next one is work is exciting when you know what you're working towards. I don't know anybody in here, but I used to dread waking up in the morning. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yep.
Like, gosh. And it's so much more exciting when like the last, 100 days, really, we've just been focused on one goal.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool. And like we joined a mastermind that we're in together, and I've just been tearing up the content from it. I'm learning about the branding on different areas, and it's just been fun. How do I solve this next problem? How do I create more opportunities? Like, I know you guys know I've talked about Lindsay. I'm such a visionary. I share like the 5-year goal, the 10-year goal. Like, this is what I see us doing. And it's coming to fruition. We're still only in the first phase of the business, which is crazy, but I'm excited because now I have a clear goal of what I'm working towards, and I have a team around me that is aligned with the vision. And you know what? I think that ties into not only like it's exciting when you know what you're working towards, when you have the right culture around you. Yeah. It's fun because it's going to tie into my next one. It's fun doing stuff with people, like and care. And it's not actually, but it's similar to that for my next one. But
that's why I have the same lesson.
No, oh, great. Yeah. Well, so and it's the segment, like, so this is the target shift. The moment I stopped working just for money, work actually got fun. So when we said, hey, the goal is to stop 1,000 foreclosures, how can we make that happen? I can't do that alone. I need people to help me. There are so many families that have reached out to us like, man, I wish I would have gotten to you guys before. I wish you would have gotten a hold of me sooner. And so every time I hear those, I just got a testimonial back from one of my homeowners, an incredible testimonial, who told us, like, you guys didn't feel like everybody else. Like I didn't know who to trust. And you were the only ones, every time you check on me, you were actually checking on me. You didn't care about my house. You made it about me. And that's how I want to live my life. And it's been more fun and it's exciting just to get up in the morning. So just making sure that I know what I'm working towards, and I keep the main thing. And it also really helps, honestly, Marlon. I think like you say, I do things and I don't even realize I'm doing anything special. Like when I ask people like, hey, what are your goals? How much are you making a year? You'll be like, so what's the number one objective for the day? And you'll say things like that. I'm like, oh yeah, what is it? Like, we both have an advantage because we get to bounce off of each other in the house, and it helps a ton of being surrounded by those people. So I'm actually going to hijack because I have to lead into this one here because it works out perfectly.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we are not married, but maybe we will get married. But my next one was, your spouse is the most important partner you'll ever have. And I was going to say, for me, when I was writing it down, it's actually your business partner. Could in that, like, your spouse is your business partner. That's something I've been hearing like Hormozy say. I've been hearing other people say. Like, we've seen so many people that are in miserable relationships that reach out to us. They're like, what do I do? If you guys are aligned, thank you. If you guys are aligned in what you're trying to accomplish, it makes life much easier. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What up, Greg? But this is who you're bouncing ideas off of. So my business couldn't go anywhere if I was not aligned with my business partner. If we don't have the same principles and values. And like, again, you talked about it earlier. It's fun to go play pickleball. We went on adventures together. Like, we realized we're never inviting anybody else on another vacation or a trip with us because we realize we have a good time together and not going to be inviting a third person. We'll maybe do fourth so they can stick together. But yeah, it's been fun finding who you can align with and thrive with.
Yeah. And I'm going to speak on this because who you choose as your spouse, or your partner in general, if they are not actively involved in your vision and they are not actively aware of it and actively growing it, they are tearing it down. And a lot of people like to believe that, like, no, but my spouse is neutral. There's no such thing as neutrality in the universe, right? Because neutral means something stands still. Nothing in the universe stands still. It's either moving in one direction or another. So if it's not growing you, by definition, it is breaking you down. If it's not growing, it's dying. And so when you look at your partner, and don't always just blame them, because sometimes people are like, well, my partner doesn't support me. I was like, well, what have you done to give them reason to support you? Have you opened up dialogue? Have you set time across for you guys to game plan the year together, to game plan the business together, game plan the vision together? You guys are coming together, you're partners, right? You're married, you're business partners. How weird would it be if I said, me and my business partner don't speak about the goals for the business. We don't speak about what we're wanting to accomplish. You'd be like, how does that work? Well, we talked about it 3 years ago when we first got together, but we haven't renewed it. We accomplished the original goal when we got together, but we haven't checked back in. One of our business mentors, he actually said one of the things on their team, when they hire a new employee in any position, whether it's C-suite or just somebody working at the lowest level, they interview that person's spouse. If they're in a relationship, they interview, even though the spouse isn't applying for the job. They said, what we want to do is we want to find out from the spouse, are they actively involved in this person's success? Because we know what we're going to be asking and demanding of this person. I'm going to be asking them to come in early. I'm going to be asking them to stay up late. I'm going to be asking them to work from home. I'm going to be asking them to pull and gain resources. And we're going to be doing projects that's just going to take their all, their mental bandwidth, their emotional bandwidth, their physical bandwidth. And if the partnership at home is undermining everything that we're doing here in the office, then we are fighting against ourselves. It's a civil war internally inside the organization, because we have you for 8 hours a day, 9 to 5, but your partner has you for the other hours of the day. How detrimental would that be? That they are literally breaking down the ideas. We need someone who's reinforcing the ideas back at home. So choosing the right partner matters, because that person has the ability to compound you exponentially. And don't choose a partner based on just, oh, well, this person's nice or this person's pretty or this. Choose someone who's in alignment with the vision, who you have good communicate. Like when I meet, we're hanging out with your sisters last night, and they were talking about, they were at a wedding in Hawaii. And I was like, oh, so like, what's it seem like for the couple? Like, are they going to make it? They were like, absolutely not. Like, just so quick. Like, the couple is not. I was like, well, what's going on? The communication, guys, the communication was awful between those couples. And I'm like, that's unfortunate. But some of you right now are slowly building one of those absolutely not partnerships, because the communication isn't there and the vision hasn't been cast properly and co-created. So please, I'm not your relationship advice, your coach, but I should be, right? We should do like a relationship class. You guys need to sit down and have that conversation before 2026 goes on further. If you haven't involved your partner, your spouse in your business, in your goals, that's a must-have conversation before the next 7 days are over. A must-have conversation.
Victory said this in the side chat. She said, how would you answer this question? You're not married or in a long-term relationship. What do you know about that?
Oh, trust me, I have. Oh, okay. So this is fun. All right. Without going too deep down the relationship rabbit hole, guys, I am probably more qualified to talk on relationships than most people out there, even though, yes, I am single, right? Wait,
what? No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I geek out heavy on relationships. I've had some of the most successful relationships in the past. I have exes that still are best friends to me. We stepped into different seasons of life. I've gone to couples retreats.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone to full-blown couple, like, marriage retreats as a single dude. And I was invited there by the people who put the retreat on because of the conversations and the insights that I've had on relationships. So I have industry experts in relationships had me come to their event to audit their event as a single dude. So I'm not saying my resume is stacked, but my resume is kind of stacked.
Well, it makes me think of like the conversation with my little sisters last night. Sometimes people rush into a relationship to not be alone.
Oh, gosh.
And like people, like, we're actively choosing not to be in a relationship right now. Like, there's we've talked about this offline, but like you have a goal, you do want to eventually have children, you do want to get married.
Mhm.
Like it's something that's important to Marlon. I'm cool with being a fun aunt. So there's different there's different shifts in life. Like things change, but like right now we're in the season. I believe my purpose is to help other people find their purpose and help others in general. Okay. I think if I'm out and I'm not in front of a camera, if I'm not in front of other people, letting them know what's possible to them, I'm being wasted. And I know that other people find value from this. So I even just had somebody reply back to me because I texted them. They said, hey, I really don't know why you texted me today, but I really needed it. And I did an extra X amount of whatever I had to do. And I feel so much more accomplished. Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me that you reached out to me. So we're in the season of working towards this right now. And when we're ready to have a relationship, we will. But one big, so you talked about this with I'm not going to give too much of your personal life away, but when you were in a very serious relationship you'd mentioned you wanted to be able to provide long term, and you are not in that situation yet. And I think we're both in a season of creating our harvest so it can pay all the time.
See, what happens is, and not to turn this into a full-on relationship, maybe we do like a relationship episode, because
you know what, I do love our relationship. That's platonic. Okay.
This is one of my favorite topics personally, and it's this, right? A lot of people, they demand from their partners behaviors that they don't even demand from themselves, right? I want a business partner who's going to, like, let's not even talk about intimate relationship. Let's talk about business, and then we'll go into intimate in a second. I want a business partner who's consistent. I want a business partner who works their butt off. I want a business partner who's going to 10x the bottom line. I want a business partner who works through the weekend. But
somebody who's extremely organized.
But then they do and show none of that themselves. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. The people that come into your life, right? Like C players do not attract A players. And so a lot of times people are saying, I want an A player partner in business, in life, but they themselves are showing up as a C player. One of the things that I appreciate about Caroline and I is we're consistently working on ourselves and improving ourselves to be worthy of the partners that we want, because we have a higher standard. And I'm okay with that. Like oh my gosh, who was I talking to the other day? I was like, they're like, hey, you have any love interests? I was like, honestly, I've been so bored with the last handful of dates. Like, it's been awful.
Why waste our time? And it's fine, because right now we can focus on our business. But we went through that Tony Robbins date with destiny. I don't think you go to the whole thing with me, but I did that. And we've done a lot of the inner work. Like, are we worthy of the person we want? You need to work on yourself right now. And I know the season I'm in, I'm really focused on the business. I would not be a good partner in a relationship right now because of the amount of hours I'm putting into my business.
Yeah. It's an attention. It's it's a bandwidth, right? Because if you take your relationship serious, guys, relationships are work. Partnerships are work. This is why you can't be married to 40 people. This is why you can't have 40 business partners in the start. So let's keep going here.
You're up next. There you go.
All right. This lesson was a big one for me because of how I was raised. So I came from a Dave Ramsey house. We were savers. We were like the biggest savers. And so Caroline mentioned it before. I don't like spending money on myself, period. Like, I just don't do it. And major paradigm shifts for me in 2025. And it's interesting because I've invested a lot of money in myself. I've invested well over $200,000 in my personal development over the last 6 years. So my lesson 6 is outspend your comfort zone. Reinvesting isn't risky. Staying small is. What do I mean by that? In 2025, I made a note of this, right? I spent way more money on coaching, personal development, mentorships, masterminds, physical health, healthy foods, upgrading tools around the house, upgrading tools for my business, and doing this because what I started to realize was I had a hoarder's mentality around the money I was making. I was afraid to let go of it, and I was actually preventing and damming the flow, because money needs to flow. It's currency, right? Current. It's like the ocean. It has to flow. If you hold the current back, it doesn't. Like, what creates a Dead Sea? If you guys know about the Dead Sea, what creates a Dead Sea is when there's only an inlet, but there's no outlet. Water flows in, but it never flows out. So eventually the water evaporates and disappears. And that was what was happening. I was plateauing myself. And Caroline had a big she helped me out with this a lot. She was like, no, dude, like it's okay to reinvest in yourself even more, and more than just like paying for the next course and paying for the personal development. Like it's okay to reinvest in yourself and getting another outfit. It's okay to reinvest in yourself in the form of changing the gym. Like we go to a more expensive gym now where I'm spending $500 a month for the gym membership. And some of you might be saying, why would you ever spend that much money on a gym membership?
We said the same thing.
We 100% said, say, guys, there's an EOS around the block that I can get for $9 a month. $9.
We said, hey, we can cancel it anytime. All right, we'll try 1 month.
Yeah. But what I found from the reinvesting is it puts you in a different room where the standards are higher, and it becomes a bit of sink or swim. And I realized that, wow, the reinvesting isn't risky. Staying small is, because staying small doesn't force you to grow. Like there's no growth necessary to stay small. And staying small is actually the thing that capsizes you out there in the ocean. Right? The big yachts don't worry about getting capsized. The big cruise ships don't get worried about getting capsized out there in the ocean because they are so big that they can handle the storms. So if you want to be able to handle the inevitable storms that life will throw at you, you have to grow, right? Because it's grow or die. And so this year, I will be doing a lot more reinvesting. In fact, 2026, one of my game plans is I'm going to be reinvesting more than I've ever invested back into the business. I plan on taking just about everything and pushing it back into the growth of the business, into the system, and to the growth of me and the people working the system. That's the focus this year across the board.
I think one of the biggest things too is when you get the money out of your bank account. I work a lot harder when my bank account is getting lower. I'm like, can't rest on my laurels. And you know, one of the other things I really enjoyed when we did the No Excuse November, you talked about how when you invested in yourself when you got started, you took out a ton of credit card debt.
Yeah.
And you made it your phone background.
Yeah.
It reminds you like, hey, I need to show up and do, like, I got to get to work. And it's just that constant reminder. So we're investing in ourselves by getting around other people. Our standards are higher, but they're opening up more opportunities and they're cutting down the time to learn the skill. We're getting networking with intention and we're meeting people that are actually making a difference. So I really like that one.
Yeah. And guys, one of the things I do at the top of the year is I reread the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And it's a reminder that you're investing into your asset column. So when I see us reinvesting into the business, I view that as like I'm increasing the size of the asset column. And the asset column is producing income. It's producing growth. It's producing value. And instead of taking that value that it produces and just beginning to live off of it and spend it, it's like, how do I take that value and push it back into the asset column to grow it bigger? I keep thinking of the game Clash of Clans and like those little cell phone games where you are digging gold and mining gold. And then eventually you take the gold and you get a bigger miner so it could mine gold faster. That's what reinvesting has the power to do if you're doing it intelligently. So 2026 is going to be a reinvestment year through and through.
That's a good one. All right. My next one for number 7 for me is trust but verify. You guys hear me say this a lot, and you could even just call it the background check. So in 2025, I learned believe what people show you, not what they say to you. And man, I've said this many times. One of my lenders lent with me, had a great experience, and then they went and lent to somebody else. One of my private money lenders lent to somebody else, and they must have just thought they're just everybody's like me, and lost $200,000 to a guy. Guy took his money and ran. I've heard so many horror stories of this person. Well, this person can answer that question. If they can answer all the questions and they can't show you their facts and their numbers that go behind it, something's a little bit fishy. So I don't just take things at face value. I've actually even like looked up. I check like business partners. I've checked to see, have they been arrested before? Like I check, I'm like, who am I getting in bed with if I'm going to start opening a business up with them? And a reputation takes years to build and seconds to destroy. And I'm doing everything I can to avoid being around the wrong people because again, I believe karma is real. So trust but verify all the way through.
Yeah, I think we've harped on trust but verify heavy in 2025. Guys, like we live in a trust recession if you haven't noticed right now.
Yeah.
AI, people online pretending to do and be what they aren't. And so it is your due diligence to make sure that as you meet people that they give you enough evidence that they are who they say they are, they can do what they say they can do. And you are to question everybody, including us. Like this is the thing. It's not question everybody except for the people you like. It's question everybody.
Yeah.
Because the people that Think about this. When people get screwed over, do they ever get screwed over by the person they're like, oh, it was a sketchy guy in the parking lot who I didn't really trust anyway? No, it's typically the person closest to you that you put your guard down with.
Mm-hmm.
I want y'all to trust and verify, because the people who have an issue with your asking for verification are typically the people lying. If someone's telling the truth, they don't mind. They have the evidence that they say, hey, yeah, here you go. Of course. It's like, guys, when the only time I got upset when I got carded going into a bar was when? Before I turned 21. What do you mean you don't think this is me? What do you mean it doesn't look like me? Right? Well, yeah, it's my brother's ID. I'm 17 years old. I got no business in this bar. Now that I'm over 21 and they say, hey, can we see your ID? Do I still get this? What do you mean you want to see my ID? What do you mean you don't think I'm old enough to have a drink? No, here you go. I'm clearly over 21. And it's done. Trust but verify. All right. Next lesson. Lesson number 7 from Marlon is, this one's interesting. Act like it till you feel it. Confidence isn't born, it's built with every bold step. And I'm going to read a quote for y'all from I've been going through the Steve Jobs biography, and this is one of my favorite quotes. So this was advice that was given to Steve Jobs by Nolan Bushnell. He told this to a 19-year-old Steve Jobs. He said, only the arrogant are self-confident enough to press their creative ideas on others. Steve believed he was always right and was willing to push longer and harder than other people who might have had equally good ideas, but who caved under pressure. Who cares if you're not confident? Act like you are. And that resonated with me a lot, because when you act like you are confident, what does it mean? Acting. Acting means I'm going to perform the actions of a confident person. So even if internally I'm not confident, if I start to take those actions of a confident person, I will begin to learn how a confident person walks. I'll begin to learn how they talk. There's a saying that, Beyonce was interviewed on the Oprah Winfrey Show years ago. And she talked about how she still gets nervous to sing and perform in front of large crowds. She had the Super Bowl coming up, and Beyonce was saying, like, look, what you don't understand is I still get nervous having to perform on the largest stage in the world, in front of the largest audience on the planet. And she said, what I did was I invented in my mind another character, a character called Sasha Fierce. And I would let Sasha get on stage. She said, and Beyonce learned, because Sasha wasn't afraid. She said, I learned how to act like Sasha until Beyonce learned how to be confident. And she's like, now I don't need to tap into that alter ego. But don't sit. A lot of people wait, like, oh, I don't feel ready for it. I'm not confident for it yet. Act like you are. Move forward now. You're only wasting time that you don't get back. All right, let's get to lesson number 8. We actually might even need to.
We might rapid fire through these. So my next one is, don't waste your one shot on a silly question. And that could go into also saying first impressions matter. It's the one shot rule. All right. So if you only get one shot with someone, using a lazy question is the same as not getting a shot at all. I'm going to say it again. I want you to hear this. If you only get one shot with someone, using a lazy question is the same as not getting one at all. Be intentional. If you're going to go take the time away from somebody, be very intentional with what you're doing. What is the purpose of this conversation? And be well put together. Your first impression matters as well. So I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned is, like, I want to make your first impression matters, and how you're spending that time with somebody. They will either love it or they're going to be like, I don't want to do that again. And that is just something I've noticed. I've seen people filter, and I've watched how people have interacted with some of our mentors, and it's been astonishing. Don't waste your shot.
I absolutely agree with that. And just to add a quick bit on that, if you're ever going to ask someone to pick their brain, terrible question, by the way, terrible question. But if you are going to ask someone to pick their brain and they do say yes, right, and you're like, I'll buy you a cup of coffee, I'll buy you lunch, whatever. If you show up to that meeting without a notepad of already thought out questions, you are wasting their time. You are disrespectful. Because I have had this experience happen to me several times. And when people are sitting there and then they're doing this, okay, what about, and like they're thinking things up on the spot, and you're like, oh my God, you're not even prepared for this. Like, and now you're you think just hanging out with me is just going to, because what you're showing them is your belief. Your belief is if I just hang out with someone who's wealthier than me, I am going to just somehow get wealthy by osmosis.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're telling me you're an asshole and you have no intention of actually putting this information to use because you don't actually have a problem to solve for yet. You're asking hypotheticals. I love this one.
I don't actually even, I've told everybody, don't ask me out for coffee. I'm insulted. Do you think my time is worth $5 for a coffee or $10, whatever they're charging? I don't even drink coffee and I won't do it. So I'm surprised I'm hoping that's what you used to do. I will not.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I will not do that.
Not
all
at
right.
all.
What you got? What's your next one?
All right. Last two for me is going to be respect the season you're in. All right. What do I mean by respect the season you're in? Guys, like success isn't just about hustle. It's also about hustling in the right time, right? It's like timing the hustle. And so I'm aware of the season I'm in right now. I sat down and thought about this. I'm 32 years old right now as of today and single, no kids. I have a healthy body. There are things that I'm able to do that I will also be able to do in the future, but I may not be able to enjoy them at the same season. We just came back from Vietnam earlier this year or last year, and we spent time traveling around, backpacking, motorcycle rides up through the mountains of North Vietnam, doing things that, frankly, can we do it when we're 70 and 80 years old? Technically, yes. But are we going to be able to do it the same way? Would we be able to enjoy it the same way? Would we be able to explore at such a whim, to go canyoning down the waterfalls and do all those things? No. And sometimes I think we put off some of those major life events for like this someday that we're building for, and we forget to sprinkle that stuff in today. And this is something I've always battled with because I am disciplined and I do believe in like, hey, put your head down and work and grind. But there's got to be, I don't want to call it a balance. It's more of an integration. It's really creating a life by design. And so paying attention to the season of, are there things in this season of life that you need to breathe life into now? Because when this season wraps up, you're not going to be able to do it the same way. If you're listening to us right now, and let's say you're 18 years old and you're thinking like, man, should I just jump totally into this head down grind mode business? Or should I go backpack for 2 months through Europe with my friends? Your parents may not like what I'm about to say, but go backpack for 2 months. Like seriously, go get some life experience. Go live that life now. Go hang out. Go stay out late and drink with your friends. Like do it now in this season, because I promise you it's not the same when you try to repeat that sort of behavior in your 40s and 50s. And it's actually kind of sad when you see people like in their 50s trying to live the life experiences that were really meant for like 18 and 20. So I'm not saying go out there and do all of that, but pay attention to the season you're in. Also, from a business aspect, if you're in a season of you've got big goals, but you haven't laid the foundation yet, you might be in a season of like, it's your turn to put in your dues, to hustle, to grind, to build the skills, to go and make the active income so that you can do the things later. You can have the charities. You can go out and buy the big commercial buildings. You can be a part of larger acquisitions. So really just take an honest audit of yourself holistically and pay attention to what sequence of life, what season of life are you in? Please.
That's a good one. We just got to be present. You got to enjoy it, guys. It's going to go fast. It is going fast. Can you believe 25 is already, we're already the 15th day of the freaking year. It's crazy. My 9th one, I'll do 9 and 10 together and I'll let Marlon wrap up the finals, is failure is a requirement. Like, it's not like, hey, you need to fail. Failure is a requirement to get to the next level. We must be failing. And it's the quota. If I'm not a little embarrassed by my attempts, I already know I'm not trying hard enough. If your first offer doesn't make you feel sick, you didn't go low enough, whatever it may be. If I haven't done enough of whatever it is and I haven't looked foolish, like somebody was mentioning Marlon read Rich Dad Poor Dad again, and we've played the cash flow game, and somebody said, you should play that. We've played it. The first time we played the cash flow game, it was just me and Marlon. I lost terribly. And I was like, how is he beating me at the game? He had more experience. You went to a club. You were in a club that did the game cash flow to understand your finances more. So
it's exclusive.
But you had more experience than me. So of course I'm not going to be as good as him. But guess what? When we first circling back to the very beginning, pickleball, I used to dust Marlon bad. and you worked your way up. And listen,
Well,
brother,
it
I
wasn't
was
bad.
not, but I mean, I would dust you. Okay, you're good now. We're good now together.
Should win by a little bit.
Get out of here, get out. No, but like you didn't remember we've played with some people who are like, oh, there it goes. They just can't even get it over. Like we're getting better where we're just crossing the net just barely. Like, and it's because we've worked together. You know what I mean? So we've gotten better playing together. So, anyways, failure is a requirement. If you're not trying and failing, you don't have the right to like ask for anything.
No, seriously, guys. Like it's funny because like all jokes aside, like the first time I remembered going out and playing pickleball, and what's so funny is failure scares a lot of people. We got like I know personally, I did get dusted absolutely my very first game, and it was such a bad loss that it actually inspired me to say we need to get better because I never want to experience that level of failure again.
We had like 14-year-olds kick our butts on the court. I think we probably got 10,000 steps in on that game.
Yeah.
And it lasted 3 minutes.
And it's so interesting. Like people are afraid of that. And it's just like, no, don't be afraid of that. That's literally the motivation to improve. Failure is a requirement. So good.
Yeah.
So last lesson from me that I got here is I have 5 more, but I'll do that in a bonus because I'm already late for a meeting. I'm 15 minutes late already. So sorry, Rachel, but design your deadline. The environment you work in can either drain you or drive you. And what do I mean specifically when I say design your deadline? This tool right here has been like the most valuable tool I think I've ever purchased. And it's a $10 timer off of Amazon. This is a kitchen timer. Like, guys, that's all this is. It's just a kitchen timer. And then you click it, time goes down, and it makes a noise when it's over. When I work, when I do not set this up, my brain wants to jump into 40 different directions. I want to do 40 different things. When I put a timer on, it is the equivalent of like the horse getting blinders. I'm able to stay in the lane. I'm able to run full speed, and I'm able to get through the track. One of the things that I found, and quite frankly, I found it works for most everybody, give yourself deadlines. Because work will expand into the time you give it. This is why when you were in high school or middle school and you got a book report on the 1st and the book report was due on the 30th, how long did it take you to write the book report? All 30 days. And typically you waited until the night before to write the book report. Because when there's a deadline, you get it done for the deadline. If you were only given a weekend to write the book report, guess what? It would have only taken you a weekend. If you were only given an afternoon to write the book report, guess what? It would have only taken you an afternoon. Your job is to give yourself deadlines for your goals. Even if you don't hit your deadline, I guarantee you, you will make much more progress when you're working against the clock.
I like that.
For me.
Life hack for the timer thing as well. I another thing of spending money on stuff. One thing Marlon and I used to do, you had one timer and I really liked it, but it was always with Marlon. It's like, man, I want to use that. So I went and bought 2 timers. So I had one for my desk and one for up here. So you don't need to just have one timer. Like it can make your, like they're $10. Get another one to make your life easier. So you're not, dang, I forgot the timer. It's downstairs. I got to go grab it or whatever it may be. And I'm different than Marlon. Time blocking has been huge, but sitting still for like an hour and a half, like my brain just says, I will die if I do that. So the difference for me and Marlon is I just set 20-minute timers. And then I get into the flow. I'm like, I'm going to flow, baby, 20 more minutes. I can do it. So that's my little hack as well. But
that drives me crazy. I set 60-minute to 90-minute time blocks, and I just work.
Hey, built different. My final one is you need to have a standards partner. And this comes back into Marlon. When I go to the gym, he's like, you can lift. Like I have gotten so many people at our gym be like, you're really strong. And I was like, well, I lift with Marlon. And I do put 45s on the bar. Like it's crazy. Having a standards partner is insane. So my standards didn't rise because I got motivated. They rose because I refused to be the weakest person in my circle. Guess what? Like, dude, I'm watching Marlon. I'm like, okay, one day we did tricep pull downs and you were like at 100 pounds. I'm like, okay, yep, I can do that. And like, I don't know what my limit is until I'm around somebody else who like pushes me to do more. So my standards have risen. Also, another big filter for me, I hang around people that don't make excuses. If you guys, time is short. I don't want to listen to people that are going to BS. Like, what are your KPIs? Oh, you don't have them? Okay, well then you don't even know what your KPIs are. If you're an experienced business person and you're trying to hang out with, if you're wanting me to come to your event or if you're wanting me to spend time out of my day and do a phone call with you, if you can't show me that you're already putting in the work and you don't have standards, we're not going to be hanging out. So hang out with people that have high standards.
I love that. And guys, like if it's not being measured, it didn't happen. Right. It's kind of like what they're saying, Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with that. Like, if you're a person, when you have standards, if you also can't show me proof and evidence that you are living by those standards, then it's just hopeful wishes on things. You're just saying, hey, I would love to be like that, but I'm not actually that way. You don't get in life your desires, you get in life your standards, right? And look at people's relationships. Like when you see people dating and they keep coming back with the same bad partner, even though it's a different person, it's because they have lower standards. Raise your standards. 2026, the standards are higher. And I'm okay with that. I want y'all to be okay with that as well. That means some people will not fit the standard. And some of those people that don't fit the standard, guys, they're going to have the same last name as you. Some of the people who don't fit the standard were raised right alongside you. You both call the same people mom and dad. And that's okay. You can have love for them, but not time for them.
One thing I love about, we've talked about this, like family, like friends are the family that you choose.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we are in control of everything. You can do your obligation, but if your family's making you feel terrible, that doesn't sound like family.
Yep. So I love it. These were the lessons. There's 5 more lessons from each of us, but we're not going to have time to get into it today because we need to get back into, or I know I need to. I don't know.
I got to go too, but I was going to say this. If you guys did get value, if you have not already, go ahead and click the like button on here. Help us share this with more people. And make sure if you've not already, hit the subscribe button on this because we're going to start doing this more regularly. And then tonight, just for all of you to know, I'm going to be calling homeowners live at 5 o'clock. If you'd like to join, are you okay if I share that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to invite all of you guys. And if you'd like, I'll put it on my Instagram. I'll post it on here too. If you guys want to come watch me call homeowners, I'm going to cold call them. So if you guys have anybody you'd like me to speak to, do that as well. 5 o'clock Arizona time, which is in 3.5 hours.
Sweet.
Cool.
Guys, appreciate y'all. Hope you enjoyed. I will see most of you guys tomorrow morning on the MMC call. And everybody else, if you got value, like Caroline said, make sure you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, because that's a way when you guys subscribe to the channel, it does make it that we can do more videos like this. And this is how we're able to do these videos for free. I want to be able to give out more content and more game and more wisdom and value on YouTube absolutely all year long. I mean, it's happening regardless, but if you are getting value, that lets us know this is something that we need to do more of. And your easy way of letting us know is you hit the subscribe and like button. Like that's how we're getting feedback on what's working, what's not working.
Yeah, actually, I'd say grab this, share the link with 3 people you know that are trying to think of what they can do to implement in 2026 so they don't make the same mistakes as us. We want you guys to have an easier path. So thanks, Marlon. Thanks for everybody coming on here, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.